to Tamara's Little Bakery. As you could tell from the title, today we're going to be making vegan cinnamon rolls. We're going to be trying out the rising method and the non-rising method today. This is actually my first time trying the 30 minutes one. We're going to try these two techniques to see which tastes better. Alright guys, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video. If you do like this video, hit comment down below if you have any suggestions. Alright bakers, grab those baking bowls, wash those hands, and let's get right into baking. So when making your vegan cinnamon roll, all you need is just to replace your butter with vegan butter, and I used almond milk, and my sugar is organic sugar, and that's it. It's the same technique of making like a regular cinnamon rolls. So here I have 2 cups of almond milk. It has to be warm so that your yeast can rise. Science. And I'm gonna put in my melted butter. This is half cup of melted butter, which is like 1 stick of butter. So I'm gonna pour it all in here. Put it all in here. Next, I'm gonna add in sugar. The yeast feeds on the sugar to bloom, so sugar is necessary when making a dough, basically, so it can rise. So I'm just gonna stir this all in, making sure my sugar is dissolved in my wet ingredients. So I'm gonna add my yeast. I'm gonna get my spoons, and I'm just gonna lightly sprinkle it on top of my wet mixture. The yeast is very important in this process because it allows your dough to rise, making your rolls, your cinnamon rolls, fluffy. So I'm just gonna stir this in. When I stir this in, I'm gonna leave this in a warm place so that my yeast can bloom. Stay tuned. So while my yeast is doing its thing, I'm gonna work with my dry ingredients. So I have 4 cups of flour here. I'm gonna sieve this. I normally like sieving my flour so that it comes out fine, I guess. So I'm just gonna put this gradually in here, and I'm gonna sieve it all. I'm gonna add salt. I mean, the salt kills the yeast. It stops it from blooming. So I make sure I try not to, mix my salt and my yeast together. So I just put it in here with my dry ingredients to be on the safer side, So carefully, I have this handed in the measuring spoons. Okay, so I'm just gonna put 1 teaspoon here. That's my yeast. 5 minutes is up. So I'm just gonna work this in. So now I'm gonna grab my yeast because it's finally done. It's been 5 minutes and our yeast has already bloomed. But if it doesn't react this way, it means you have to replace your yeast and start this process over again. So make sure it bubbles up and looks like this. All right, now I'm gonna add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients, and we're gonna mix it all together. I made a hole in here, kind of like a well in the middle. I'm just gonna pour this into that hole so it's easier for me to mix it. I promise you guys, this recipe is very easy. It's very easy not to mess up this recipe. I promise you that. So I'm just gradually mixing this. Fun. So your mixture should look like this. Now that I've mixed it all together, I'm gonna seal this with plastic wrap and let it rise for an hour. While our other dough is rising, we're gonna start with the 30 minutes non-rising recipe. My flour here, I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Next, we're gonna add our baking powder. So instead of yeast, we use the baking powder for the rising agent here, and baking powder will help with lifting our cinnamon roll. So we're gonna add 4 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm just gonna stir this all together. Next, an important step, I'm gonna add my butter. And when you put your butter here, you're gonna just mix it with the flour. I'm just gonna use my whisk here and just crumble this with my flour. It would make your dough kind of rumbly, I guess. Okay, this is not working, so I'm just gonna use my hands. I mix my butter and my flour together. So you crumble it just like this, so it looks so it doesn't look like plain flour, it looks more like a sand texture like. So yeah, just do it like that. Normally when you're crumbling your butter like that, I like my butter being cold. So I used cold butter, but you could have used like soft butter if you want. All that is done, it should look like this. You guys can see it. So it doesn't just look like flour, it just looks crumbled with butter. I'm gonna wash my hands, so we'll move on to the next step. Next up, I'm gonna grab my non-dairy milk and I'm gonna add this into my mixture. And I'm gonna make like a hole in between just to make for easier mixture. So it should look like this. Not too sticky, but good enough to work with. So now we're gonna knead this dough. Make sure you put flour on your surface. Make sure your surface is clean and your hands are clean as well. So I'm just gonna put this in here. And I'm gonna knead for like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna start kneading. So we're still kneading here. This is my first time working with a baking powder dough. Normally my dough, when I'm kneading a dough, I know the yeast is working and doing its job, but the rising agent we used here was baking powder, so very different. I'm finally done working with my dough and it looks like this. Now I'm going to work on my filling for our cinnamon roll. I'm just gonna place this somewhere, maybe into my bowl, just keep it outside, and I'm gonna clear up this place and I'm gonna start with my filling. All right, now we're gonna start on our cinnamon filling for our dough. So I'm gonna get 1 cup of brown sugar, and I'm gonna mix it with 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And now I'm gonna roll my dough and spread my filling. All right guys, now it's time to roll. I just tried to distribute my dough so it would be easier for me to just roll. Okay, don't make fun of me guys, I'm gonna use a wine bottle. I don't have a rolling pin, but I do have a wine bottle, so we're gonna use a wine bottle. All right, so I'm just gonna slightly roll. So I'm done rolling this. I'm gonna take my butter and spread this on top. Nice and melted. Our other dough is actually still rising, and we're basically done with this one. The dough is still rising. Oh, that is a timer for that one, actually. So it's been an hour, and our other dough is ready to be. I look a mess already. But I'm done with my butter here. So now I'm just gonna lightly spread my cinnamon and brown butter. My cinnamon and brown sugar. What am I saying, brown butter? Now it's time to just roll this all together. So just slowly roll it. So I'm just gonna keep rolling. I'm gonna cut this and put this in our pan. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. You guys are probably not seeing me, so It looks like this. So I'm just slightly cutting like that, and I'm just gonna cut this and cut here and cut here and there. I just keep going, and our rolls look like this. Look at that. So our cinnamon roll is ready to go in the oven for 10 minutes or until golden brown. So I'm just gonna take this into the oven, and make sure you preheat your oven to 400 degree Fahrenheit before you put in your cinnamon rolls. I was starting to look like a whole mess, so I decided to put on my apron. So I got my apron on, and we're gonna start with the rising dough. Look at how much it's risen. All right, let's take out the wrap. Oh well. I wish you guys could see this. Wait, I'm gonna put this here. So take a look at that. That is our dough. It's been rising for an hour. First things first, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna just lightly pour flour on here. And I'm gonna lightly pour on my surface. Make sure your surface is clean. Mine is. So I'm just gonna lightly pour this here. So I'm just gonna stir this all in before I pour it all in my surface to knead. So kneading is gonna be the same process. I'm gonna knead for 10 minutes, and yeah. I'm finally done kneading this dough, finally. So it looks like this. But now we're gonna make the filling for this dough, and yeah, pop it into the oven like we did the first. Okay. I'm done rolling it and putting it in my pan, and it looks like this. So now we're just gonna let this rest for an extra 30 minutes before we put this into our oven. So yeah. Our rolls have finally doubled in size after 30 minutes, and our oven has been preheating for 350 degree Fahrenheit. Now we're gonna put in the oven for 25 to 40 minutes till it's ready. Just take a look at that. Yummy. Our cinnamon rolls are in the oven right now for 25 minutes. So now I'm just gonna start with my icing for both the cinnamon rolls. What you need is 1 cup of powdered sugar here. I'm gonna add in milk. Remember, this is a vegan recipe, so I have almond milk here. Slightly stir. Now I'm gonna add vanilla extract. Just add a little taste to it. And stir this all together. And it should look like this. So for the icing sugar, I decided to add more icing powder in here because it was a little bit too runny, and I don't want it too runny. I want it to be like a thick consistency, so I added more icing sugar. When it comes to the icing, you can play around with the portion of icing you put in. So I just added in more, and this is this is not bad. I'm gonna add a little bit more icing just to make it a little bit thicker. Okay, so I added more, and I don't think I want to put any more icing sugar because it's thick enough now. So now I'm just gonna wait for my cinnamon rolls to get ready to use my icing. Take a look at that. This is our cinnamon rolls with the yeast, and this is the one without the yeast, and you can definitely already tell the difference. This is definitely doubled and tripled in size, and this didn't really it's doubled in size but not as thick as this one has. So I'm just gonna put my ice in and get ready to taste. And this was my other pan. I didn't show you guys this one, but this one came out so pretty as well. You could just give this as a gift or something, but this is pretty, right? Alright, so I'm just gonna be taking one from here. I'm gonna grab this one. It's definitely gonna be hard to pull out, so I'm just gonna grab a knife and cut out. I'm gonna grab a piece from here. What? Look at that. And it isn't difficult to differentiate which from which. All right, let's go have a bite of this. All right, time to take a bite. I think I'm gonna try this one first. This tastes really nice. It tastes like cinnamon bun. Let's try this one. So we've tried both the cinnamon rolls, and obviously I'm gonna go with the rising technique. It's more fluffier. It has more texture to it, I guess, and it's softer. This one is still good. It's worth it for the amount of time you use to make it. It's easier if you want something quick, if you want a cinnamon roll quick, if you don't want to wait for a whole hour and 30 minutes for your bun like this one to rise, then definitely stick to this one. It does taste like cinnamon roll. Is something if you want to try it, definitely try it. I give it a 10 out of 10. Both taste good. I would try both anytime. If I want something quick, I'll definitely go with the non-risy one, but if I want to stick to my regular, cinnamon bun, I'll definitely go with this. All right guys, so that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying tuned to the end. If you did like this video, don't forget to give this video a fat thumbs up. Comment down below if you like more of these videos, and comment which cinnamon roll you will actually try at home. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and become a family to Tamara's Little Bakery. All right guys, thanks for watching. Bye. Enjoy your cinnamon rolls.